Brilliant, thanks. That's the last video we have to show, so hopefully it's plain sailing now. So anyway, look, so that was just a quick video about the hack and what we want to achieve. It's trying to get new uses for existing data. So really, why were we interested in the hack? Why was Grangegorman interested in the hack was we need to start conversations, we need to start people talking. We need to start people talking between the construction industry and the IT industry. Like we need the data makers, the data users, the data owners, the product vendors to all start having a conversation together to see what we can do. Why do we need to start talking? Data is just data. So what we need to do is we need to investigate new ways of using this existing data. We need to see if there's new products that can be made, secondary uses from the data that's already been created from the construction industry, and what kind of licenses we need to use. These kind of conversations need to be had, and the hack is all about starting these conversations and getting people talking about this. And we need to be able to have better conversations. We need to have well-structured information so we can understand how better to use this data to facilitate app developers and product software vendors and all that to understand how we can use the existing design, construction, and operation data for another purpose that can provide new value to the owners of the data. So I think our CEO actually kind of summed up what it's about for the Grangegorman Development Agency. Within the Grangegorman Development Agency, we're gathering quite a lot of data. So we need to make sure that we're actually gathering the right kind of data so it can be that's ready to be used for any future uses that we can be seeing that will come down the line for the Grangegorman campus. So that's why it's important for us to be involved in this kind of event. So just let Oliver come in and.
Cheers, thank you. So I'm Oliver Dawkins, I'm the Data and Training Coordinator from the Building City Dashboards project. We're responsible for the Dublin and Cork City dashboards, which essentially give a high-level informational view of the city based on available open data. But as part of our research, we've gone beyond this and started looking at how 3D interfaces, 3D data can be used to assist both planners in the city and citizens as well. So my colleague Gareth Young has been out and he's been talking to planners across the country. In the meantime, we've been prototyping these kinds of three-dimensional planning tools to give you a range of functionalities, incorporating GIS data sets, looking at kind of visual uses that these kind of models can have for planners. So a lot of it at the moment in the tools that we're looking at is just the visual aspect. But what we want to do is go beyond the visual aspect and start looking at different forms of analysis that we can perform in the built environment. So this in fact is just a very quick visualization of an early version of the data that is being released for the hackathon, and that is actually intended to be released openly after the hackathon is complete. And here you can see we've got a pedestrian model. I really wish I brought a video now so you can actually see the individuals moving around, but you can start asking questions like, well, what happens if we close off the road when this event is on? How does that change not just how this part of the city is functioning, but what impact that has in other areas of the city? And so this kind of 3D data set allows us to ask those questions and look at the wider urban fabric. And it gives us the opportunity to look at different scales. So we can look at the city from the first person kind of virtual reality perspective, where we can take a step back and take these high level views and see patterns across the city. And so what we're hoping is that through the release of this data set, we're going to be able to let other people help us ask and answer those questions. And so the hackathon that's been planned for the 10th to the 12th is intended to be a very inclusive event. So we have BIM data sets available, but we also have this wider 3D data set available that might be suitable for a wider range of sort of users and app developers. So we're hoping it's going to be a very exciting event with lots of new use cases coming out, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I think that's us.
Well, no, just actually, just to finish it off here as well. Sorry. So the event on the 10th, there's an opening launch event on the 10th. Like I believe if you take a photograph of that, you'll be able to use the QR code to go to the Eventbrite's page, so you can register for that event. Which you're all welcome to come, and that will be a location where you can start these conversations between people that want to use the data and understand how to use it. And also, we're very lucky here that we've got quite a lot of support from a lot of companies, and we've got a lot of vendors here that are actually coming together and trying to help us out to see what we can use from this data. I suppose that's it. Thank you very much. Is there any questions, I suppose, just before we go? Are we doing questions now?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any questions there?
You extend your entry. I was trying to
Unfortunately not, but yeah, unfortunately not. The entries closed last Friday, but do come along and kind of get involved in it.
How many teams have you got involved?
Can
you tell me?
I'm not too sure of the exact number. I think it's around 10 teams, and then we have some individuals that's planning to work.
And it's a common challenge they've all been given, is it?
Well, what the challenge is to come up with uses of the data that have been given. So it's kind of, we know the data that we have, and the challenge is to provide public good that there's a tangible benefit to the public from using this data. So the data sets that we gave, as Oliver said, was the citywide model of the Docklands, but we've also provided IFCs. There's an IFC of the Grangegorman building. We actually do expect more IFCs to go up on the site in the next few days, but we've also gave them direction to already open data, IFC open data.
And was it Maynooth University that was successful in winning the bid to develop them?
No,
was there a call by Dublin City Council?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
We weren't involved in the sort of, the tendering process. We didn't make the tender.
Right.
So really, we've had the opportunity to prototype with some early data sets, but the tender process was separate. So really, we're coming to it as another user as well.
It's got one other question. Is it just all local teams, or have you got a UK team?
I actually don't. Oh, sorry, we do.
Digital Build Britain there, are they?
Yes, but they're not a team. We've been talking to them for advice. There is a team coming from the UK, all right. Any other questions? Okay, thanks very much for your time, and I hope to see you on Friday.